Kevin Hassett is the director of the National Economic Council of the United States, and he bombed when he was asked by ABC's Jonathan Karl, explain how 50% tariffs on Brazil make sense, especially since Trump said he's tariffing countries where we have a trade deficit, but we have a trade surplus with Brazil. This doesn't make any sense. And Kevin Hassett, this is really bad. I almost feel bad because this is so bad. Take a look.
Data.
Well, as you know, a lot of economists say that the inflation will be coming, and that there were certainly a lot of imports that were brought in the anticipation that tariffs would be placed. But let me ask you about one new set of tariffs that he announced on Brazil. 50% new tariff on Brazil. Brazil had a $6.8 billion surplus last year. In fact, the U.S. hasn't had a trade deficit with Brazil since 2007. I mean, almost 2 decades. So why are we putting a punishing 50% tariff on Brazil?
Well, bottom line is the president has been very frustrated with negotiations with Brazil and also with the actions of Brazil. In the end, though, we're trying to put America first. I think that a lot of people, when I'm talking to negotiators from other countries, at some point they'll say, what did we do wrong? And what I'm trying to get, the message we're all trying to get across is this is about America getting itself ready for the golden age by
understand that so far, none of this is responsive to the question. It's just random bullet points. You could say this about any country. Jonathan Karl's going to press him. It's called journalism.
Getting our house in order by getting our tariff and trade policy and tax policy exactly where it needs to be for a golden age. And normally it's not necessarily about a specific country, but with Brazil it is. Their actions have shocked the president at times, and he's made them clear about that.
But I don't understand how you're saying it's about America, because the president has made it quite clear that what he's upset about is how the Brazilian Supreme Court has handled the criminal case involving former President Bolsonaro.
I'm agreeing with you. What I'm saying is that what I've been saying with most countries was that it's really about us getting the tariffs in order.
But what about Brazil? He's not being asked about most countries. He's being asked about Brazil.
I think that this tariff for Brazil is a lot higher because of the president's frustration with Bolsonaro. And the fact that Bolsonaro himself, anyway.
But can you explain to me, because I find it confusing here, on what authority does the president have to impose tariffs on a country because he doesn't like what that country's judicial system is handling a specific case?
Well,
I mean, how is that?
If he thinks it's a national defense emergency, or if he thinks it's a national security threat, that he has the authority under AIPA.
So how is it a national security threat that, how Brazil is handling a criminal case against its former president?
Well, that's
notice that he's digging deeper and deeper.
Not the only thing. That's not the only thing.
But of course, it's the only thing he said.
So what is it? I mean, I've asked what it is. I mean, it seems that that's what President Trump's talking about. He's talking about his anger and his frustration. He's been quite candid about it with the Bolsonaro case.
Right. Well, the bottom line is that what we're doing absolutely collectively across every country is we're onshoring production in the U.S. to reduce the national emergency that is that we have a massive trade deficit that's putting it at risk.
And remember, we do not have a trade deficit with Brazil.
We need production in the U.S. because of a national security crisis. And this is part of an overall strategy to do that.
But again, as we've just established, we have a trade surplus with Brazil, not a deficit. And we've had a surplus with Brazil for 18 years.
You're not going to get any more answers. Now, of course, the MAGA people were immediately assailing the character of Jonathan Karl because of the questions he was asking. Folks, this is called basic journalism. This isn't difficult stuff. It's just Trump said the tariff formula is based on taking the trade deficit and either dividing it or multiplying it by 2 or something. But we don't even have a trade deficit. We have a trade surplus. Only in this country, by MAGA, are you expected to treat these people with kid gloves, and it's a problem if you don't. But they don't have answers because none of this makes any sense. Ultimately, this is going to be much more common once journalists start realizing none of these people can actually justify the tariff scheme because it's just random. It's you take the trade deficit and you multiply or divide it. But if there's no trade deficit, you say, I don't like this particular prosecution that's going on. It's whatever Trump wants at the end of the day. Not a great way to make economic policy. Now, on the bonus show today, speaking of economic policy, Inflation was up in June, highest level in 4 months, reportedly to a degree because of the tariffs. We're also going to talk about a new Republican attempt to remove non-citizens from the census, which has significant potential implications. And finally, Andrew Cuomo insists he is staying in the New York City mayoral race, but since he lost the Democratic primary, he's going to go independent. What does the polling say? What does common sense say about this approach? All of these stories and more on the bonus show. Sign up at joinpacman.com to get instant access. You can also become a member on Substack at substack.davidpacman.com. I'll see you on the bonus show. I'll see you back here tomorrow.